Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, we'll be taking a look at some of the smaller updates that patch 9.0.5 has. We definitely have videos for some of the big stuff, valor points as well as the covenant and class changes. But in this video, I want to highlight some of the smaller things that I found so far on the 9.0.5 patch, whether it has been minor conveniences around Oribos, or more major systems that will be explored further as we get more updates and more testing done on the PTR with this patch cycle. Anyway, let's dive into some of the 5 smaller updates and conveniences that I found so far over on the PTR realms. One of the weird updates that I found is the mounting and dismounting has a slightly different animation around your character. Normally it's just a little smoke cloud, but now it's like a puff of air with a bit of sparkle. This isn't going to be any kind of like a massive change that drastically changes the way you play the game, but I just found it quite interesting and noticeable because it was different. At first I thought maybe it was a Night Fae, and maybe Blizzard added one mount animation for Night Faes, one for Kyrian, one for Necklord and Venthyr, but then I tested all my characters and I had them all in different covenants for further covenant testing, and it looks like your mounting and dismounting animation is slightly different. Don't know if this is a bug or if this is meant to be added, but that definitely does feel and look different on PTR. Next, we have some improvements to the actual UI having to do with the weekly vault. You used to have to do this macro that people have figured out that if you tap in a script, you can actually see your weekly vault rewards, and it seems that Blizzard now gave it a button. So when you navigate, at least for me it was to the Mythic Keystone and click the weekly vault reward icon, it actually took you to the actual screen of showing you all the weekly rewards available for you. Also, if you check your map right now on your character, you should be able to see the weekly vault easier inside of Oribos. I wonder if Blizzard will add more of those icons around Oribos, maybe one for the Covenant, one for professional vendors, in order to make it easier to see in the map, because people are getting weak auras for that stuff anyway. But now it's a little bit easier to track exactly what is in your weekly vault that's available for your character, how far your progress is, and exactly where the vault is, in case you get tired of trying to look for it inside of this massive tube that we call Oribos. While we're on the topic of conveniences, it does seem like Blizzard added even more mailboxes inside of Oribos as well. Normally there's a mailbox right next to the inn, and I believe that's the one mailbox that most people crowd around. And apparently in the game, for the longest time, there's always been a mailbox on the other side of that inn, except I have never really had a reason to go to that other side of the inn in order to use the mailbox there. But those are the 2 mailboxes that currently exist in the game. And Blizzard added a couple more inside of Oribos to have multiple places for you to actually get your stuff from there. Like for example, near the Great Vault, there's a mailbox right next to the massive safe. So they added a mailbox for you to, let's say, go get your weekly stuff done from your vault, and then you could also pop into the mailbox and check if you have any of your auctions sold there as well. There is a 4th mailbox as well, and potentially Blizzard could add more. There is one next to the portals when you first zone into Oribos. This one is also a pretty good spot because quite a lot of people use the mage portals, and this way you'll zone in into Oribos. Or if you use the hearth from, let's say, Armory, you will also zone into Oribos. If they add any more mailboxes, which they totally could, I hope they add one next to the engineering vendor, because there is an auction house for engineers there, and a lot of my alts are level 1 engineers just so they can buy their stuff like their legendaries from there. Another bit of content that was added into PTR as well is a secret forge. A forge that we still don't really know what it's going to do, but we have a lot of guesses. First, to access it, you will need to be a little bit along with the story with Venari. So you'll want to do this on your main character that's doing majority of the story. There is an item that you can buy from Venari if you're mostly complete with the story or fully complete. I'm not really sure, but my main definitely had it, but my alts couldn't even unlock the item, and it's going to be an item that lets you farm Stygia to some extent, but also other rare items. Another thing you'll want to make sure to get from Venari, which I never gotten from my main because I never really saw use for it up until now, is the ability to use grapple hook inside of the mom. It's a 1-buy item for both of these, so you want to make sure you have both of them bought, and you'll want to go to Perdition Hold. Inside of Perdition Hold, you have to do a little bit of maneuverability because the place you're trying to get to is kind of secret and a little bit further out. But you can use the grapple hooks in order to be able to reach it a little bit closer. So that's more or less where I was at, and I was doing a bit of exploration here because I haven't used the grapple hook in the mob before, and I also was trying to figure out where this place is. But it's really out of the way, and it's not super easy to find. I'm pretty sure Blizzard is probably going to add some sort of a quest line for you to be able to find this item. Unless it's supposed to be like a secret thing, well then this video kind of ends up spoiling this secret. But next to the place we're trying to go to, we actually found one of the new events that you'll be able to do inside of the maw. Because of the item we picked up, now we can turn ourselves into what looks like a ghost spirit and try to solve a puzzle, to open up a chest and try to see if we can get any goodies out of it. There's not a lot of stuff on PTR right now to tell you exactly what this is and what you're supposed to do, but what I got out of this is it's a puzzle that lets you swap out sigils, and I think you're supposed to make a correct order of these sigils. There's nothing in the game that tells me exactly what's the correct order. There's nothing in the game that tells me like a dialogue option that tells me exactly how to solve it. So right now it's a pretty big mystery. But if you align them in a right order, I'm guessing you should be able to open up the chest and take what is inside. I'm pretty sure that I messed this chest up because after I did my final lineup of some of the sigils, I did have an NPC spawn on me trying to remove me from location. Maybe it was timed, or maybe because I failed the encounter. You can blind the enemy and you can kind of leave the spirit form, but you'll also lose the reward. So there's quite a lot of unknown with this type of event in the maw currently right now. But if you climb up to the top of the perdition hold and you keep climbing up and up and up, following all the different chains in order to climb further and further and further, when you go to the top layer, there should be one more chain that is necessary next to a cage. And if you climb up there, then you'll find this new secret event. It looks like Blizzard added some sort of a crafting system inside of the maw, where you might be able to craft something interesting. A lot of people have been guessing online that it's most likely a maw mount, a craftable maw mount. There are a couple of ways of getting maw mounts. Right now you can either do one of the hunts and be lucky to get yourself one of the maw mounts, or do twisting corridors up until layer 8 to unlock the corridor creeper, which is the one I have. But if, let's say, you're a player who is not really into Torghast, or you're not really into the hunts because, you know, bad RNG doesn't really help you, and you still want to get yourself a maw mount, it looks like they might have added something that looks like you can craft some sort of hide, some sort of a husk, and even barding for a potential maw mount. It could turn out to be something else, but it looks like they added some sort of a, I would say, mechagon tinkering crafting thing into the maw, which could be very interesting. It could be kind of cool for like a little bit of like end game thing for the maw. I know in the maw right now you just farm Stygia, but one of the end games that feels much better is to just be able to get a mount so you can farm Stygia and do all your things easier. So it looks like Blizzard is going to be doing some stuff to the maw. This is just a very first, I'd say, conception of it. We still don't know exactly how it's supposed to function, and there's probably going to be more updates on it in the future on PTR. Finally, we have even more skins for the Ardent Wield Soul Shape. It looks like Blizzard is adding far more animals which have been data mined. It could be anything from a mammoth to a yak, it can be a lizard, a spider, you can even be a hippo, and so much more. So it's cool that Blizzard is adding even more different forms, and there's most likely more forms to be data mined, as it looks like we have cobra shape, hyena, hippogriff, owlcat, stag soul. So it looks like there's even more stuff for you to transform into if you end up playing the Night Fae. But that's going to be everything we have so far on the PTR patch 9.0.5, at least so far. There's most likely going to be more updates, but this is only 5 smaller things that are either improvements or potential mechanics that we'll be able to play with or interact with going into the next patch. I'll make more updated videos if there's any more content that comes up for 9.0.5, but hopefully this one was an interesting look with this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts about all the things we talked about in this video, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another one.